Hey everybody, welcome back. We're back in the kitchen today, and we're going to work on something that is a dish that makes me feel good. You know, the first time I debuted this recipe out to the world, it was for a dinner at a local university, and we fed about 350 people with it. And people loved it. It was something that they had never had before, and it was exciting. And it's Cochinita Pibil, and it's from the Yucatan peninsula. And they often serve it with, marinated onions and things like that. It's something pretty easy to make here at home. You need a Dutch oven, a nice thick-walled one. We use Le Creuset because that's kind of what everybody uses. Basically, the process is you take chunks of pork, marinate it, then once it's out of the marinade, put it into this paste made from achote, some spices, and the juice of the sour orange, also known as the Seville orange, or in Spanish it's naranja agria. Then you put it into a bunch of banana leaves. Now the banana leaves, they're going to act as kind of like a mini oven within your Dutch oven. So you put them into the banana leaves, and then you roast them off in the oven for hours. In the description below, I'm going to leave links for a couple of the ingredients I use that may be hard for you to find. Let's get to it. Let's make some pork. Here we have our ingredients for the marinade for the cochinita. We have naranja agria. It's the sour orange from Goya. Some apple cider vinegar. And we have some salt, about 35 grams. About a tablespoonful of annatto that's been ground up. A tablespoon and a half of cumin that's been ground up. And then a couple inches worth of cinnamon sticks. And about 6 or 7 garlic cloves. All right, so we have our cat here, our pork here, and all the good stuff that's going in. We're gonna start with getting all the cinnamon in there. And I think before I put the garlic in there, I'm just gonna go ahead and crack it open a little. I fully expect Eva to go flying off. Or garlic clove. Now we got some onion. Our salt. The rest of that cinnamon. Let's get the rest of the orange in there. Good bit of the vinegar. A little bit of water. And then go ahead and let that sit overnight. All right, so here's our ingredients. We've got the chunks of marinated pork, so the sour orange juice. This is the brand that I prefer. Not sponsored. This is just what I use. We got some Mexican oregano, big old block of achote paste. Now this one I wanted to show, this one right here, the El Yucateco, this one in particular does not have any artificial colors. So for folks that are trying to avoid artificial colors, this is the one to look for. Then we got some garlic and cinnamon. Now this is just a little bit of cinnamon, about 2 inches. Salt, about a tablespoon and a half of achote. Here we have some cloves, about 6 of them, some allspice berries, and some black peppercorns. Here we have about a teaspoon and a half of coriander and a tablespoon and a half of cumin seeds. Half a white onion, avocado leaves. I've got a few of them. These are going to go inside to flavor and kind of perfume the pork. Think of using these as kind of the same way you would use bay leaves, right? What I don't have shown right now is some banana leaves. Other than that, a spice mill if you have whole spices. If you're using ground, that's fine. And your Dutch oven. The first thing we're going to want to do here is toast our spices. So here we go. Let's get these ground up. Nice and fine. So we're going to go ahead and get this into a bowl. And there's part of our spice mix for the paste. Now that our spices are ready, I want to introduce you to our banana leaves. Generally, when I get them frozen at the market, and that's fine. They work absolutely fantastically. Fresh are a little more fun. So we're going to torch these, and then they're going to be pliable enough to use them as our little baking package. Okay? There we go. All the leaves are roasted. Now they're ready to set aside, and we're going to move on to the next step with the meat. I'm going to start with getting my onion and my garlic crushed and ready to go. And then with this, just nice, easy strips. Boom, done. I'm gonna put these here. My garlic. Boom. Garlic's done. About a tablespoon of salt. All of our spices. An empty dish. Got some oregano until it looks festive. And now our achiote. And this container has a little bit left. This is probably 20 grams. We're going to need more than that. This is the size that I know I should buy, but I hardly ever do, because I think to myself, when am I going to go through all that? Well, when I make this. So, there we go. I'm going to use about that much. So if we're looking in here, here's our ingredients ready to roll. I'm going to get some gloves on. Here we go. So that's pretty good to start. Now I don't measure the orange juice because I go by sight. Let's try that. So when you're making this is kind of the texture you're looking for. All right, it's time to get everything put together. It should smell a little cinnamony, a little spicy. If you're making this dish and you're concerned about time, just cut everything into smaller pieces like I have here. Pieces about this big, they're going to cook pretty quick. Now that everybody's in the paste, just massage it through. I'm going to pull out the Dutch oven and our banana leaves. Get ready to get these things all in there. We've reached the part of the process where I keep a clean hand and a dirty hand. And that's just simply to make things a lot easier, cleaner on my side. And it's what you would do with, say, if you're making a fried chicken. So I'm going to start getting these banana leaves into the pot. And you're just going to break them as you're putting them in, and that's okay, right? Because what we're trying to do is we're not making an airtight cooking vessel with these things. We're just trying to get some extra flavor in there. And so if they break, that's fine. We've got the bed ready to go. And we just get the pork in there. Get that first layer of pork in there. See? And then what you're going to do, drop in a couple of these cloves of garlic, some of this onion, and a couple of these avocado leaves. Now we're looking at this. Get the rest of that pork in. Rest of the onion, the garlic. And, you know, I'm reaching all over everywhere because why not? 2 more avocado leaves. And so our pork's in. Now we've got all this. Let's get that all out onto our pork. So now I can get rid of the glove and we can work on finishing up. First up, we're going to just fold these over. And it fits perfectly in here. Then, and we're just kind of putting everything in, putting it to bed. Just tuck it all in. Okay, I think that's good. I got just a little bit more to put on. But first, so total in this is probably half a container. So we probably got about 6 or 7 ounces of the naranja agria in here. Gonna get this last one on top. Gonna throw this in the oven at 375, and then we're gonna come back in a few hours and see how it looks. All right, here we are about 5 hours later. And we've got the pork looking good. Now when you get it out of the oven, it's going to be a lot of steam. So just start taking off the pieces of banana leaves. Here's what we're looking for. That's how you want that pork to look. I'm going to go ahead and make some tacos though. Now we got a little bit of salsa right on top. Get a little finishing salt. And these are pickled onions that I made. A little bit of habanero in them. These are a traditional accompaniment for the dish and absolutely delicious. Tacos de Cochinita Pibil. Porky, a little salty, sour. The salsa is nice and fresh with some jalapeno. Absolutely delicious. There's a nice balanced bite from the onions. Could have used a little more habanero in them. But this is amazing. You've got just great pork ready for making a nice plate with some rice and beans, or making some tacos, or even some burritos, whatever you want. You can throw this in tamales. It's absolutely fantastic, and yeah, make it. This is one of those things that's gonna change your life and your view of pork and Mexican food.